All right, shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakah HaKodash, double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone that rule well, teach well, while learning truth 100% according to the Bible. I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophets, servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth. And shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you few sisters out there that are sincere in your children, shalom. And then today's video, as you can see, is going to be titled The Beginning of Sorrows. And it's ultimately going to be building off of this news that you ultimately had happening in New York City, in Brooklyn, where you had this mass flood that ultimately went on that killed, I believe they say 2 people perished. But ultimately, I'm going to get straight into the video and we're going to allow it to play. And then I grab a few precepts because we know that ultimately we're living in a time of great evil where the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, is going to be unleashing various different plagues upon planet Earth, you see, and we're definitely in that time. So things are only going to continue to heat up and to get worse. You're going to have more of these storms happening, more just, out of nowhere type events occurring in the earth in this time because, hey, the Lord is judging this place, America, man, as well as the whole earth, you see. So, hey, we're definitely in a time of, greater evils that are coming, So with that being said, fair use.
Major flooding sweeping through Brooklyn Thursday, with citizen app videos showing water rising to the bumpers of cars on Fulton Street and residents working to clear clogged drains overwhelmed by the heavy rainfall. In Prospect Boulevards Gardens, the torrential downpour turned deadly. Police say the FDNY's scuba team found a 39-year-old man in a flooded basement in this apartment building near Kingston Avenue and Rutland Road. A neighbor who wished to remain anonymous says he was kind and spoke to everyone in the neighborhood.
Extremely friendly. As I stated, he greets everyone. Hi, good morning, good night, how are you? He does interact with his neighbors.
Investigators say the call came in just before 4:30 p.m. The man was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. Cell phone video from a neighbor shows the flooding during the storm. The anonymous resident says she called 911 multiple times, and when she finally reached someone, she was transferred to the FDNY. She says she reported the dangerous flooding outside, but was told there was nothing they could do because the department doesn't deal with water.
My neighbors are trapped. Kids are unable to get home. Cars are unable to pass. We need assistance. And he responded by...
Right. And you hear what it is the woman is saying in the video that I allowed to play for the little bit that did play, you see. And she ultimately said, you see, the flooding is so bad out there in Brooklyn that, kids can't even get home from school and various different other things. You got, people that perish from the flood, So, I mean, hey, all of these things that we see happening in this place, Babylon, as well as the world, you see, these things are being sent by Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? As it tells us right here, Isaiah 45 and verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace, right? Good times and create evils, bad times. I, the Lord, do all these things, man. You see, and like I said, we're only at the tip of the iceberg of, bad times that Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai is about to bring to this country, man. We're only in the beginning of it, right? As it tells us right here, I'm going to go to St. Matthew chapter 24, and I'm going to start at verse 3, right? And I'm going to read on down to verse 8. It said, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? You see, and when you go into that word world, it goes into aeon or eon, which is talking about this age, right? And we're definitely at the end of the world. You see, this world, as these people know it, that's being ran in wickedness by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. You see, this place, America, as well as the Edomite hegemony, is coming to an end, man. That's why we see all of these signs occurring in the earth, because ultimately these things are indicators of what time and season we're in, right? Verse 4, and Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. You got a lot of that going on now in these times. False prophets, people rising up, just saying all type of madness. All of these things are taking place, right? Verse 6, and you shall hear wars and rumors of wars, right? You got that happening as well, right? You got various different wars that are going on around the world. You got Russia and Ukraine. You got, rumors of wars, North Korea, South Korea, China, Taiwan. I mean, you can go on for days. America, Venezuela. I mean, so we're definitely in these times, man. It says, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, you see. Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation. You see, that's going into your race wars, your class wars, which we know coming down the pipeline soon is going to be occurring here in America, right? As well as other places throughout the earth. It says, and kingdom against kingdom, right? This place, America, being divided the way it is, you see, and there should be famines, right? Famines and pestilences, right? And earthquakes in diverse places, man. You got earthquakes happening all over the earth, you see, in various different regions where they normally wouldn't occur in, you see. But as it says, verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows, you see. So everything that we ultimately see happening worldwide and in here in this place, America, is only the beginning, you see, of greater judgment that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is ultimately about to bring and pour out in these times, man. You see, because like I said, it all goes back to us being at the end, man. As it tells you right here, I'm going to grab 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, right? And I start at verse 1 and I read on down to 5, right? It says, he answered me then and said, measured out the time diligently in itself. And how do you measure the time diligently? You ultimately look at the prophecies, you look at what the scriptures say, and you align it with what you see happening in the earth now. So as I just read in the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24, we see all of those tokens that our Lord Yahushua left us happening in the earth now. So what do all of those things ultimately tells us? That guess what? We're at the time of the end. You see, that this world, as these people know it, is over, man. It's done. You see, and things are only going to get worse from here on out. You see, it ain't going to go back to how it used to be. Only thing you're going to continuously see coming upon the world, especially here in America, are evils, man. Bad times. You see, you know, just things happening, man, that people can't explain. Because ultimately, like I said, these things are being brought by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You see, the Lord is punishing this earth. You see, and it tells you that. I'm going to finish reading. And when thou seest parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before, right? Verse 2, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. You go into that word visit, it goes into judge. So we're living in a time where Yahweh Shem Yahushua is judging his world which he made. You see, and guess what? That's why we only going to continue to see these storms happen. We're going to continue to see earthquakes and all type of, you know, things occur that people can't explain, or, you know, just stuff arising out of nowhere, man. Because guess what? The Lord is the one that's bringing these things, man. You see? Verse 3, therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes, right, and uproars of the people in the world, you have that happening as well, man, right? All of those no king protests that you had just a week ago occurring all throughout America, right along with all of the protests and the uproars of the people going on in various different countries around the world. You see, you just had over there in France, the people over there were looting, burning down the cities, doing all type of different things, right along with Nepal. So, I mean, all of these things are speaking loud and clear, man. Everything that we're reading in these scriptures is happening now here in our time, and they're all happening at once. You see, it says, verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High, right, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. You see, because everything that we ultimately see playing out here in our time, it was already written in the beginning. You see, verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, you see. So, hey, we're at the end, man. And that's why we only going to continue to see things get worse. That's why you're going to continue to see just, you know, bad times, you know, and things getting worse for the world, man. You see, and that's why we tell you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians that this is the time like never before to be seeking Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because you're only going to continue to see things get worse, man. You see, things ain't going to get back to normal. Things ain't going to go back to what you people wanted to go back to. You see, it's only going to get worse from here on out, man, day by day, right? As it tells us right here, this 2nd Esdras 14, right? I'm going to start at verse 16. It says, for yet greater evils, right, then those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. So each day that goes by is going to be worse than the day before it, man. You see, verse 17, for look how much the world shall be weakened through age, right? So much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein, which is talking about the people that dwell within the earth, man. You see, especially if Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not with you, then guess what? Ultimately, you stand no chance in these times that we are in and that are coming. You see, because like I said, we're only in the beginning of sorrows. We haven't ultimately seen the amount of evil that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is really about to unleash upon this earth, man. You see, all of these different floods and little storms that are happening, those are still small compared to the judgment that the Lord is really about to bring forth, man. You see, but I'm going to grab this precept as well. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, right? And I'm going to start at verse 1. It said, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people, right? And who's the Lord's people? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And you also have speckled birds that look like the heathen, but their seed line also goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You see? It says, behold, speak down in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. And that's what we're warning you, Jakes, about. We're telling you of things before they actually happens. You see, we're telling you that we're in the beginning of sorrows. We're telling you that greater judgment is coming on the planet Earth from the Lord, you see, and ultimately to repent and to seek him, man. You see, we're warning you of these things, as always, of what the men of the Lord have spoken about, right? It tells you that in Jeremiah 28, right? Let me grab that real quick. Because this is what the men of the Lord always prophesied about. You see, bad times. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war, right? That's what we're telling you, tribes is coming, right? War, right? World War III, race wars, class wars, civil wars, you know, and of evil, right? And of pestilences, right? And you just had happen in Mississippi. You had a truck that crashed where ultimately you had, like, you know, a lot of these test monkeys, you see, that they claim had, you know, various different, you know, contagions within them that are running rampant throughout America somewhere, man. So, hey, you about to have pestilence running rampant through this country, all type of different things, man. And this is everything that the Lord is about to bring, you see, that we're warning you, Jakes, of, you see, before it actually happens, right? But this is back in 2nd Esdras chapter 15. And I'm going to start at verse 1 again. It says, the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. Verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. That's talking about these prophecies. Everything that we're warning you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians about through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, these things are going to happen, man. You see, the evils that we're telling you is coming down the pipeline upon America is going to happen. You see? And you're only going to continue to see things increase, man, from here on out, man. You're just going to continue to see things get more and more worse, right? And it says, verse 3, fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. That word incredulity goes into unbelief, because ultimately you got a lot of our people that don't believe. You see, that's why they see everything that's happening in the earth right now, and they're not trying to seek the Lord. They don't see no urgency in trying to get right with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? Because the majority of our people are unbelievers, the 2/3 of Israel, you see, who ultimately the Lord is going to, you know, punish in these times, man, with all of these different types of plagues and judgments he's about to unleash upon the earth, man. Those that are not of his remnant are not going to be spared from these evils, right? But it says, I'm going to finish reading verse 3 again. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, right? And this is the reason why, verse 4, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, right? So ultimately, everybody that don't believe, you see, it doesn't matter if you don't believe, right? What does Romans chapter 3 say? I'm going to grab that real quick. And I'll start at verse 3. And it said, for what? If some don't believe, right? Shall their unbelief make the faith of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua without effect, right? Verse 4, Yahweh forbid. Yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sins and mightest overcome without a judge, you see? So ultimately, it doesn't matter if people don't believe what we're telling them about or what we're saying is going to come down the pipeline. You see, it doesn't matter, because guess what? At the end of the day, the counsel of the Lord shall stand, and everything that the Lord have prophesied through his men and everything that are written in these scriptures that are ordained to happen is going to happen. You see, nothing is going to stop that. Not unbelief, not scoffers, not people, you know, not ultimately hearkening unto the word. Because we know at the end of the day, only the elect of the nation of Israel are even going to, you know, turn back to the Lord and to seek him, you see, and ultimately believe these prophecies, man. You see, everybody else, they just going to continue to keep going about their lives, doing what they're doing to ultimately things get worse, right? But I'm going to get back to 2nd Esdras 15, right? And I'm going to go to verse 5, right? Because this is ultimately the point that I wanted to get to, right? It says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, right? And those plagues goes into these storms that are happening too. You see, it says the sword, famine, death, and destruction. These are all of the things that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is bringing to the earth, man. You see, and it tells you why he's bringing these things. Verse 6, for wickedness, right, have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled, man. You see the behavior of the people, man. You see, especially the 2/3 of Jake. I mean, we just see the wickedness, especially here in this place, Babylon, the Great America. And this is the reason why, hey, these evils that we see occurring in this place are only going to intensify, man. Right? So I'm going to grab this precept as well right here. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 16, verse 37. It says, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, right? Because everything that we ultimately see happening, like I said, is not going to slack up. It's just going to continue to keep coming and coming and coming, man. You see? Verse 38. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb. Which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment, right? And that's just how it's going to be in these times as well, man. You see, right when people thinking that stuff is going to go back to normal or thinking things going to get better or slow up, guess what? Something worse than what happened before is going to happen. You see, that's just the time we living in, man. You see, ain't no normality coming back to this place, America, nor to the world, right? But that's why it tells you in Ezekiel 7:25, destruction cometh, right? Because that's what's coming. And they shall seek peace and there shall be none. You see, no peace is coming to the earth, man. Only thing you're going to continue to see come is, bad times, man, Verse 39, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrows shall come upon it on every side. And like I said, we're only in the beginning of sorrows, man. We haven't even seen the intensity of how things are really about to get out here real soon, man. You see? So like I said, man, things are heating up. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is doing things, and it's just going to continue to intensify from here on out, right? But I'm going to definitely get back into the video. We're just going to allow the rest of it to play real quickly, So,
we do not respond to water or rain.
The city's Department of Environmental Protection says the sewer system is only able to handle up to 1.75 inches of rain. Neighbors say the area floods regularly and their repeated requests for help have gone unanswered. Renee Phillip lives nearby and says the water often seeps into her home, causing costly damage.
Very frustrating, because every time I feel like I'm getting ahead, then here comes a storm. And then I have to put out money out my pocket that I don't have.
All right. And you hear what it is she's saying. And I'm going to grab 2nd Esdras chapter 15, and I'm going to go down to verse 12. It said, Egypt shall mourn. And this is not talking about ancient Egypt. This is talking about modern Egypt, man, which is this place, Babylon the Great, which is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. It said, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh Shem Yahushua shall bring upon it. And these are the plagues that the Lord is bringing upon this place. These storms, these floods, all of these different types of various things we're seeing. This is all being sent by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Right? As it tells us in Amos 3:6, it says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Right? That trumpet represents this word. You see these warnings going out from the men of the Lord, urging and telling you Israelites to repent, telling you that ultimately what we see happening is going to get worse. You see, but our people not trying to seek after the Lord. They're not trying to turn back. So guess what? Hey, people just going to continue to just keep finding themselves, going through these bad things, man. You see? And like I said, it's only going to get worse. But, Amos 3:6, shall the trumpet be blown in the city and the people be not afraid? Shall it be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? Right. So like I said, all of these things that we ultimately see happening here in this place, Babylon, as well as the world itself, these things are ultimately being brought or sent by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You see, and it's only going to get worse, So with that being said, Lord's willing, I pray this video be edifying, just something quick through the spirit. Till the next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect. Shalom.